Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mental Junk Food, where we talk about all things comics, sci fi, horror, fantasy, pop culture, and everything in between. And I am your somewhat, sometimes humble host, CB Smallwood. And today we're going to be talking about He Man and the Masters of the Universe. But first, I like to give credit where credit is due and list my sources for the people that do all the footwork for me, and that is, of course, Bounding into Comics. So if you want to cut out the middleman and read this article in full, I recommend that you Google them and hit them up and check it out there. Now, for those of you that stuck with me or sticking with me to see this mayhem unleashed before your eyes, thank you. And let's go ahead and get started. Now, the news of the day is this. Kevin Smith of Clerks fame, Clerks 2, he did Dogma and a whole bunch of other stuff. First of all, if you've not seen Clerks, I recommend that you watch it. Now, if you're sensitive to foul language, then it's probably not going to be your cup of tea. But if you don't mind it, you'll probably thoroughly enjoy it. That Kevin Smith, that director, who also written Daredevil for a short stint, and I think he may have also did something for DC, though I can't remember what it is. That guy is having something to do with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's coming back, and it's coming back to Netflix, or coming to Netflix for the first time, I should say. And the name of the series is Masters of the Universe Revelations. Revelations. So that's pretty cool. And Kevin Smith is the guy who's kind of overseeing this. So let's delve into this and see what the deal is. So you kind of see the cool image right here. You got this skull, what looks like some type of power. Maybe it's He-Man's sword blasting through Grave Skull or Gray Skull, whatever. The other interesting tidbit about this, according to our good old buddy here, Pixel Dan, the series is said to pick up from the original cartoon. So going back to the 1980s, sometime whenever He-Man and the Masters of the Universe came to an end, this series is supposed to pick up right after that. Could you imagine? Let's just do a hypothetical situation. Me as a fanboy, could you imagine if they took the Transformers Generation 1 cartoon, and picked it up from right now from where it left off, and they got the same type of quality animators that they did for the 1986, I think it was 1986 or 1989, I can't remember, Transformers, the animated, movie. Got those same people to do a series and pick it up from right where it left off. That would be fantastic. That would be awesome. I would love that. But, I can only dream. And, it's probably best that things like this kind of be left where they are. They seldomly come back in a way that you enjoy. To get off on a short little tangent, nowadays when they do reboots or they try to pick a series up off from where it left off at, and people try to tinker with something that worked just fine, just perfect 10, 20, 30 years ago. It reminds me of Pet Sematary. Stephen King's Pet Sematary? And the idea is, this guy buries this dead cat, in this cemetery, and it's supposed to, bring things back. But when they come back, they're not really, on the outside, they look like the thing that you just buried, the person or the animal. But on the inside, they're very, very different. They're not the same thing anymore. They're a different beast altogether. Evil, I dare say. And I'm not saying a lot of interpretations of a lot of comics and film and movies and television and stuff that's being reinterpreted today is evil, but I'm kind of just drawing that analogy that, there's something not quite right with the modern interpretations. They're just not going over well with the massive audience. There are some people that really do enjoy, franchises that have been changed and morphed into something new, like Ghostbusters. Remember Ghostbusters? Just from a few short years ago. all female cast, and I actually loved the casting in the movie and stuff like that. I just didn't enjoy the movie. It just, I don't know. I mean, I like some of the new things that they tried with the, the neon colors and stuff, but it just seemed a little too forced. It seemed a little too hokey at times. It just didn't have the same charm that the original series did. And I think that's a good way to sum it up. I mean, it's, again, with Ghostbusters, that was like the perfect cast. I love the movie Bridesmaids, and actress from that was in this. Well, two actresses actually, I believe, were in this, and it's surprising that it just, they couldn't pull it off, and it's mainly just a writing issue more than it was a casting one. But anyway, let's not again get into that. You're here for He-Man news. And I'm getting into some oddball stuff here. So let's recap here. Kevin Smith is having something to do with this new series, this new cartoon, picking up where it left off from the 80s. And the new series is called Masters Universe Revelation. And the third interesting tidbit for those of you that are interested, Powerhouse, the animation team Powerhouse, the team that was behind the Netflix Castlevania series, is a team doing this new Master of the Universe series. So let me tell you about this. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of Castlevania on Netflix, and I did enjoy it. I didn't watch the entire series, so you have to forgive me for that. But I did enjoy what I saw. I thought it was interesting. It actually had a lot of depth to it. But I think that might be due to one of the people that was involved with it, which is Warren Ellis. I could be wrong. It seemed like I remember reading that somewhere. But Warren Ellis, the comic book writer, one of the best comic book writers in the business, may have had something to do with the Castlevania series on Netflix. But anyway, not saying he's involved with this He-Man series. If he was, it would probably be phenomenal, in my opinion. Let's just keep going. I'm getting in these strange little tangents. All right, now here's the interesting paragraph that we're going to cover here. All right. A radical return to Eternia. Revelation is a direct sequel series to the classic era of Masters of the Universe, featuring fan favorites He-Man, Orko, Cringer, Man-at-Arms. The story pits our heroic warriors and guardians of Castle Grayskull against Skeletor, Evil-Lyn, Beastman, and the vile legions of Snake Mountain. But after a ferocious final battle, forever fractures Eternia. Sorry. It's up to Teela to solve the mystery of the missing Sword of Power in a race against time to prevent the end of the universe. Her journey will uncover the secrets of Grayskull at last. This is the epic He-Man and the Masters of the Universe saga fans have waited 35 years to see. Well, hold up. Stop the presses. I'm hitting the stop button right now. I'm pulling the cord on the train. There's an emergency here. Let me reread this just for a second here. This is something either potentially really cool or really dumb. But after a ferocious final battle forever fractures Eternia, it's up to Teela. It's up to Teela. Not He-Man. It's up to Teela to solve the mystery of missing Sword of Power. So, from what I gather from this one paragraph, He-Man's sword is missing, and it's up to Teela to find it. Now, who the heck is Teela? Let's take a look at her. This is Teela. I picked a picture of her looking menacing and pretty cool with this staff here. You know, she's getting ready to do some serious business. This person right here is going to be hunting He-Man's sword because the fate of the universe is in her hands. And you know, I'm fine with that. I really am. But like I said before, when I went on my little weird tangent, see how things kind of come full circle, you know, with the Pet Cemetery bit and everything. I don't really trust modern Hollywood to do these things justice. I really don't, because they're more focused on pushing their weird, odd little agendas than worrying about serious character development and all this other stuff. Now, some of you may say, well, there wasn't much character development in the original series. Well, if that's true, then it doesn't mean that you shouldn't focus on character development in the new series. You know what I mean? I don't think it's wrong to ask for a certain standard, and the standard I'm asking for is, since they're going in this direction where it's up to Teela to solve the mystery of the missing Sword of Power, since it's her responsibility now. They better make sure it's a really good story, and they put her through the ringer, and they don't overpower her or anything like that, and just make her invincible, and her lecturing everybody on on everything in the world. That's what I hope. I hope that we could go back to the days like in movies like Alien with Sigourney Weaver. That was an awesome female lead and well-crafted story. Or like, the Terminator 1 and 2 with, what is her name? She kind of disappeared after that. She's back in the new one. But those first two, starring starring that lady who was in the Beauty and the Beast television series that nobody remembers from the 80s, early 90s. She was awesome. But anyway, I don't know. Has me a bit concerned. On one hand, it could be actually really awesome. It's very different. But on the other hand, it seems kind of dumb to me to have a show that is very centric around He-Man. He-Man is the lead figure of the whole show in Masters of the Universe. We already have a She-Ra animated series on Netflix. And I've actually watched I don't know if it's 12 or 15 episodes that I've watched so far, and I do enjoy it. I think it's a really good cartoon, She-Ra is. And it's more geared toward girls, which guys, boys, whatever, can still get into it, but it's clearly a girls' cartoon, more so than what it was in the 80s. And it's and now, what about the boys in society? Why can't boys have nice things? Why can't boys have masculine role models? Which I'm not saying Prince Adam was necessarily a masculine fellow. He was not at all, but He-Man was. And that, they even did psychological studies before they launched Masters of the Universe, and they found that kids felt, especially boys love to feel empowered. They want to feel like they have the power, and that's how He-Man got his saying. It was from a psychological study. So, let's not forget the boys. We already have She-Ra. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just ranting. So do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you see where I'm coming from? Are you excited about this new direction for He-Man? Do you think it's going to be really cool? Or you think, it's not going to be so cool? Let me know in the comment section down below. And before we go, I have an Indiegogo going on here for Wildcat. And it's an intense action horror mystery thriller inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, John Carpenter, and 90s comics. Currently, there are, as of this video posting, there's only 42 days left, and I have a fixed go of $1,500 to get this comic. So you can get the physical copy right now for just $12. That does include the shipping in that price. And so if you want to support this channel, if you want to support my endeavors and to support my dream to make this comic a reality, please go over to Indiegogo and at least check it out. There are other tiers, such as the $5 PDF and so forth and so on. So check that out. As always, this is CB Smallwood, and I will see you in the next video.